Hi, we're here in New Orleans for the Southern Republican Leadership Conference and talking to Ray McKinney, who's a candidate for Congress in Georgia's 12th District, running against Blue Dog Democrat John Barrow. How you doing today, Congressman?
We're just fine. It's a beautiful day in New Orleans.
Well, now, tell us why you decided to run against John Barrow.
Well, it's interesting how John Barrow paints himself as a moderate, calls himself a Blue Dog Democrat, and comes across as a conservative. You know, he told us things that he voted no on health care and voted no on things like cap and trade. Well, the interesting part is what people don't realize unless you really get involved is that his no vote on cap and trade, while he did do that, the bill actually passed. But if you look a little bit deeper in it, you'll find that cap and trade was actually built in his committee, and he was the deciding vote that put it on the floor. He was also the deciding vote that would have denied countries like China to profit off cap and trade, but instead he voted no on that amendment that was introduced by conservatives. So John Barrow tells us one thing, but what he does in reality is totally different. The other thing, too, is if you want to call yourself a moderate Democrat, then my question to you is why have you voted for Nancy Pelosi as Speaker of the House every time you've had a chance to vote?
And tell us a little bit about how you first became involved in politics, because that's an interesting story.
Well, you know, we've all got our reasons or the way we got into politics. You know, a good personal friend of mine, her child came home from school one day and mentioned something that was being taught in sex education class at school. And she had never been involved in politics, but then she got involved. She's now the 1st District Chair of the state of Georgia. She's an executive assistant to one of our state senators and has been able to make a lot of changes. So we all have our stories. Now, my story is a little bit unique. I got fed up, and I didn't know what to do. You know, I had no political contacts. I've been a businessman all my life, machinist, engineer, project manager. I worked in industry, so I had no political connections. So I opened up a MySpace website, and on April 1st of 2007, and I hope some people will get the humor in that, is I filed to run for President of the United States. Now, I did it legally. I filed with the FEC, had a campaign committee, and I had told them up front that, okay, now legally I filed for running for president, but legally you can also run for vice president. So it started out as just a way to kind of engage people. And the funny thing was is people actually got engaged. I actually qualified for several states to run for president of the United States, and I went to the Texas State straw poll at the invitation of the Texas GOP, and at that poll where I was allowed to speak, out of the 13 candidates, one of the candidates that I did beat was John McCain. So we beat two.
Wait a minute.
Yes,
wait a minute. You said that you beat John McCain in a straw poll?
Well, if you'll go and if you'll Google Texas State straw poll, you'll see that their first ever state-sanctioned straw poll with delegates from the Republican Party. There were 13 candidates. You'll find that I came in 7th place. There were 2 senators, a congressman, a doctor, and a lawyer who actually came in behind me. So it's kind of a unique experience. But the point was, it wasn't to go measure drapes in the White House. The whole point was I want to get involved, and I want to show other people that, hey, you can get involved, you can make a difference. So what happened with that is when I got back to Savannah, several people contacted me and said, Ray, you know, your ideas, we like them, you're a conservative, you're the kind of person we're looking for, why don't you run for Congress? Now, at that point, I'd never considered really running for an office, but I talked with my employer, I left my job, I refinanced my house, and I ran for Congress. That election turned out, I came in 2nd in a 3-way runoff. We missed the primary by about 450 swing votes. So, you know, we thought we made a difference. It surprised a lot of people. You know, I had people contact me the evening of the election or the next day, you know, telling how great a job we did. Now, I thought that we hadn't done that good of a job. You know, we got a little over 1/3 of the vote. But what surprised everybody is that some no-name candidate, someone who had never been involved in politics, never associated with the Republican Party at an official level, actually got that many votes. So after that, I was elected to the state committee, I was elected to the district committee, and I got involved heavily with politics. I started meeting people around the country, trying to push the 12th district for a candidate that I was supporting at the time, Wayne Mosley. Once he got out of the race, I was helping other candidates, you know, with contact information, making phone calls on their behalf, trying to, you know, help them win the district or win the people over in the district. At the same time, we were reaching out to other organizations around the country and saying, hey, look at the 12th. And the problem we had was nobody was emerging as a viable candidate. So all the work that we had done was about to go to waste. So I talked with one of the candidates who I've been helping and explained to him that, look, you know, you've worked hard and I appreciate your values, and this is nothing personal, but this is a very, very valuable district. It's a very valuable seat, and we have things in place that only we can kickstart because you haven't been able to do it in the last 6 months. So we filed, and you know, 4 or 5 days later, we're running strong, and you know, campaign funds have come in, and we're running our campaign.
And you're down here in New Orleans. We can see the palm trees behind you here, and you can hear the traffic on Chartres Street behind us. Now, how have you enjoyed the Southern Republican Leadership Conference so far?
Well, you know, the biggest problem with the SRLC is they only hold it every 4 years. This is, call me crazy, to me, for a Republican, this is kind of like going to Myrtle Beach on Bike Week. You know, you have a town full of conservatives. You know, you can go in a restaurant and meet all kinds of people. You'll see people that you've known from around the country. That's the amazing part. You're meeting friends that you haven't seen in a while, and you're just, it's just a great experience.
All right, and thank you very much. And again, that is Ray McKinney in the Georgia 12th District, running against a soon-to-be extinct species known as the blue dog, John Barrow. Thank you very much.